Guys, welcome back. It's the next day. I ended up getting the trans out, but it got stuck between the headers, so that's where I left it off last time. I'll show you guys real quick. Pretty much dropped. I ended up modifying my headers so they sit a lot closer to the trans, and it got jammed in there. I'm gonna try to cut them out with my bandsaw cutter. If I can, I'm probably gonna have to run to the store and get a saw since my Milwaukee one burnt up last night. So the trans is out. This is just a little comparison. I'm gonna put them next to each other so you guys can see. They're almost identical in size, actually. This is the 1-Uzi bell housing already on there. The shifter goes about the length to where the stock shifter would be. So it shouldn't be too hard to fit in there. Hopefully we could get it in there without hammering anything. And if we do have to hammer it, it's gonna be minimal. But I also got the flywheel out. This is the stock flywheel with the spacer, some other things on there. But I got the modded 3S GTE flywheel in there. Essentially, it's just a modded flywheel. They shim the bevels on here so that they work with the Uzi starter, and as for the middle, they space out the holes a little more out so everything lines up. I'll show you guys real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up just to give it a quick trial, see that the starter engages fully and that the engine turns over. But that's it right now. We're gonna turn on the car. Alright, so everything worked. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the flywheel out again because I gotta use Loctite on the main bolt. But we're also gonna wait on that for a second because I gotta run out and go get another pilot bearing since I lost mine. Alright, so we're back. I got me a pilot bearing now. That way we can align the input shaft correctly. I also went ahead, I was missing some of the hardware for the pressure plate, so I got me some new ones. They're M8 by 125. And I got me red Loctite for the flywheel and blue Loctite for the pressure plate. So let's get these in there now. I'm checking that the pilot bearing fits in there and slides in nicely. Now we're gonna go over here and get it in there. I'm gonna get a hammer and just tap it in there. So I got myself the hardware, I believe, that came with the kit. These are grade 10.9. Do not reuse the OEM flywheel bolts because they'll probably break on you. You could use 10.9, well at least that's what I'm gonna use, or go all the way up to 12.9, which is gonna be the best hardware you'll be able to get your hands on. And for torquing these, I'm gonna do 80 foot-pounds because that's what the 3S GTE clutch install recommendations are. But that also changes depending on what kind of hardware you use, so be sure to look that up. Just go ahead and put some on. Oh, chef lot. Put a little bit on all these. All right, now I'm gonna install them hand tight, and then we're gonna begin torquing them. So I'm gonna set my torque wrench to, we'll do 30 foot-pounds and start from there. All right, got the crankshaft in the front pried up, so hopefully it doesn't spin. And we're gonna go ahead and, that was it. We're gonna jump across. Oh shit, what the fuck? Alright, for the final one, we're gonna be doing oh no, wait, now it's time to do 60 foot-pounds. The flywheel bolts torqued out, and I got the pilot battery in there. You kind of want to use a 22 mil socket to line it up and hammer it in there. I made it flush with the flywheel, so we'll see if that works out. Besides that, we're gonna get the clutch aligned and put the pressure plate on. The clutch goes only one way. There's a front to it, the flatter side. You want to have it facing towards the flywheel like this, or else you're going to damage your clutch. And this part that sticks out more, you see, sticks out more, it's going to end up hitting the hardware inside. You'll fuck up some shit real good. But let's get that in here now. I got the clutch alignment tool. We're just going to go ahead and slip this in here and put it up against the flywheel. The pressure plate has a certain way it's going to go in there as well. There's 3 dowel pins on the flywheel, so we're going to line those up. Then we'll be able to bolt it down. Let's see. It's these smaller ones on the side. Put a little bit on there. Put this thing in here. Pressure plate bolts are gonna be 15 foot-pounds. I'm gonna tighten them down in a star pattern. That way the pressure plate puts pressure on the clutch evenly, and it doesn't mess up anything. So I'm gonna hand tighten them first. That way you can actually get the ratchet to come back, the torque wrench. Again, the lower one. Give it a nice. everything's torqued down. Just to be sure, you want to make sure that the tool slides in and out fairly easy once the trans. That way, when you try to line the trans, it's not that hard. Should be like that. Should be able to slide it in, slide it out. For the neutral switch, when you look at your connector, it's always going to be the bigger pins. So all you have to do is cut them and then splice them together. I got mine right here. These two. I'm gonna just put a crimp-on connector and then electrical tape over. Alright, so everything is wrapped up nicely. It's not gonna go anywhere. If you don't jump the neutral switch, the car will think you're in drive or in another gear, and it won't try to, when you go to turn the key, it won't crank over or anything. So you have to make sure you do that. Now that that's wired up, you can try it out and see if the engine turns over and that the starter engages correctly before you put the trans in. Now it's time to put the trans in. I went ahead and greased up a little bit of the input shaft. That way it's easier to slide in. Besides that, I think we just need to remove the center console and get this shifter out of here. Yeah. All right. Mine's already loose, so pretty much you like pop it from here. You open up your handrest, and then there's a few more bolts in here. I don't have anything on there. Like this one right there. And then there's some side ones over here, but I don't have anything. And this thing just pops out. Let me, this one pops out too, like this. Go ahead and slide that back so I can pop that out. And, I guess I put one in here. Alright, it's out. And it should pop back. That's, oh, there you go. Alright, cool. So that's, there's gonna be 4 bolts right here. This one, and that one back there. So I'm gonna get those out. So the bolts are undone, and then you just pull this thing up. Oh, actually, yeah, just pull it back a little. Then you have to undo these connectors. I think that's about it. Oh no, wait, there's one more. Oh, no. Well, this shit's all broken. Put that there, and then we'll be able to pull this out. And this is the dual caliper bracket I was telling you guys about. Bolts into the stock location right here where the 4 bolts are, and hopefully I have enough space right here for the shifter. Another thing I want to mention is the smart thing to loosen up the drain and the fill plug. I believe this is the fill plug before you put the trans in, because if you have a hard time, you might not be able to get some tools in it like an impact, and if it's seized up in there, it's gonna be just a pain to get it out, and you won't be able to fill up your trans. So I'm gonna just loosen it up right now, make sure that everything's good, and then we're gonna start putting it in. Loose or not? There you go. It's loose, so just gonna leave it like that so we can fill it up in a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and jack up the engine from the oil pan again. That way it tilts and it's easier to slide the trans in down there. think that should be good right there. Jack that up right above the sway bar. So this is the setup right now. Got the jack in the front, trying to lift it up in between the headers. I ended up modifying these headers, so that's what's making it harder for me to get the bell housing out, but normally the stock ones shoot straight here. I kind of like twisted them in, so I had to cut the other side too for more clearance. But I'm just gonna jacked up here, and then I'm gonna come back here and try to tilt it and push it in straight and start doing one bolt at a time. So I'm gonna struggle with that, and I'll be right back. So the trans is in after like 30 minutes of struggling. I got everything in. Put all the bolts back in on the bell housing except for the top two to make it easier to remove later on. And as for torque specs, I couldn't find anything, so I just hand tightening them. You'll know when to stop. Now we're gonna go up here. My shifter bushings were super worn out. Oh, here you go. And there's a ton of slop. I went on Excessive website and ordered a little rebuild kit, or it's just 2 bushings pretty much. So we're gonna put those in now. Cut it out, and now we're gonna slap this one in. Check. Take your hand in there. Very good. That's good in there, and over here. I'm good. Put it on the bottom. So we just pop the bushing in there. Shit, which way is it? Boom. I'm just gonna tighten up all the bolts around there. Alright, so we're back now. I got the drive shaft in as well. You guys can see. I did have to modify some things because whoever made this kit or drive shaft didn't do it right. Up here where the shifter extension is, it's way too close to this drive shaft, so I shaved it down to clear it because it was hitting. Right here, this part, it was actually like probably over by here. I cut that too because the drive shaft was way too long, so make sure whenever you get your drive shaft made, take the measurements right so that you don't have this problem. I have to drop my diff in order to get it in back there and slip it in on this side, so that's a pain in the ass. It's supposed to be able to slip, just drop from the back and then just slip out, but I have to go the extra step because the drive shaft wasn't made right. But it spins freely, so that's good. Also, shout out to the eBay motor mounts. I will have that drive shaft remade or go with an aluminum one later on. But that eBay motor mount right there lasted me about 2 months, and it completely broke off. So that's what made the engine push a little bit more forward and get the drive shaft to fit in there as well. This side's still good. Probably just gonna, with the trans mount, I should be good. And for the inside, when you get the shifter extension made, make sure you measure it right as well. I'm not too sure exactly how long that shifter extension was on that, but the OEM, at least for the 10s, I think it was like about right here. So I ended up having to cut a shit ton more than I wanted to. But I gotta get this car running, so I had to do it. I had no time to modify the shifter extension and stuff. So that's how it looks right now. I mean, once I cover it, it should be, oh fuck. Let me see. Once this panel goes in there, it'll be kind of about there. So I think it's not too bad. It's gonna be nice. And yeah, I'm gonna continue putting everything else back together. So for the trans mount, I decided to reuse the OEM one. I just cut it like right here to clear this aftermarket trans mount, and then got me this plate drilled some holes on it. We're gonna reuse the 2 rear holes right here, and then how does this thing go? Maybe a second. Just gonna put it on like that, and then tighten everything up. I just gotta find a nut that'll fit this bolt. So I'm not too sure what the thread is. This should be okay for now. I'm gonna end up redoing everything, but we're in a time crunch, so this is gonna work now.